Yes guys, and welcome to today's video. I want to put this video out today to go through the single biggest lesson I learned last year in 2024. If you're new here, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to start putting more long form content out like this, explaining my ideas, my thoughts, and generally just sort of have a platform to share my journey over the next sort of like 12 to 24 months whilst I'm building out my business alongside my 9 to 5. So if you're trying to do the same thing, tap the bell, see how things are for yourself, and we can dive into today's video. So nothing to bring up on screen today, it's going to be me just talking straight at you. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this lesson literally changed my life. I mean, that might be a very overarching statement to make. It might sound like it's kind of too much or fluffy, and yeah, it's a big statement for me to make, but I'll be honest, it genuinely did. Like, prior to me learning this, like, I'll go through exactly how my life was looking, and it might not seem big to you, but it was big to me, and hopefully you guys will get some value out of today's conversation. So obviously I'm trying to build my business right now alongside my 9 to 5, and the truth is that it's not easy, okay? You might see these videos online, you probably will. I mean, I'm sure I did, that's for sure. How to make your first 10k, how to build your business from 0 to 100k a year in just 6 months, and all of this sort of like flashy, you know, get rich quick schemes that just kind of come out of the blue. And they're enticing, and obviously that's what social media is for, is to entice us and to catch our attention, right? For me, that happened too, and I'll be honest, I was quite naive like when I first got into business, and I thought, oh yeah, I saw these videos, saw these young guys or girls on YouTube who are making money, or I perceived them to be making money regardless of their position, and I wanted to be like them. I couldn't lie. Like, we all get into business for time, freedom, fulfillment, purpose, maybe to support those around us, loved ones, support yourself, and actually create something for yourself. And yeah, I wanted to be like them. So what I was going to say was that this one lesson was very tricky to, not very tricky, it was very difficult for me to contextualize and understand until I experienced it. And obviously we can only learn from our experiences, right? So the lesson is this, right? That you literally can't pour from an empty cup. And you've probably heard that 1,000 times, and it's washed over you. And let me give you some context to help it stick in your head a little bit more. So for me, as I said, my life was hard at that point. I'm probably talking around 12 months ago right now, like maybe 18 months ago. I just started this business, right? I just started this online coaching business. It was all new to me. All I'd ever known is the corporate world, 9 to 5. I went to university, you know, well, before that I went to school, I went to university, I then went and graduated. I went straight into a 9 to 5 job, right? And I thought that was it. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And over time I realised that wasn't for me. You know, I saw my career heading in a certain direction, and that my earning cap, I'll be honest, of what I could earn was very, very limited. Now, I work in healthcare, and there's bandings, and you are literally put in a box, and then you can progress and you put in a box, but at some point you need to go back to education, masters, things like that, and do additional learning to kind of get that income up. And that just was not how I wanted to live my life. But at that time, that was my life anyway. So I work as a physio, and that is my sort of reality. But I had this business idea, I had the coaching business idea, and wanted to build it alongside my 9 to 5. And so I started to do that, and obviously I think that culturally in society, especially in entrepreneur culture, that there's this sort of like preface that success is hard, you have to sacrifice, you have to work 24/7, you're only going to make it if you put the hours in. All this like narrative that like you see and you read and listen, and you consume that information, you believe that to be the way to get successful, like work hard, become successful. It's like a simple equation. And of course you can't like magic a business out of thin air, and you can't just like make it out of nothing, right? But that mentality like absolutely killed me, and this is how it looked. So I literally would do a full day at work. I'd leave the house at like 10 to 7, maybe half 7 some days, get back like 5:30, 5:45, okay? I didn't have a dog at the time then actually, but I do now. So I'd just head over to my girlfriend, have something to eat, probably like 7 o'clock, half 7. I didn't really have a plan. I'd just kind of like sit down, open my laptop. I was working with a mentor at the time, and I had some assignments. So yeah, I was like working with a mentor at the time, and I had some assignments. Well, they weren't really assignments, but they were like the action points from the meetings that we had. And I'd literally open my laptop up, and that'd be me like locked in from around half 7 to at least half 9, quarter to 10. Literally, I'd crash out on the sofa, go on my phone for like 5 minutes, say hello to my girlfriend, try and like watch some TV and wind down, go to bed like half 10, and that was it. That was life for like months on end. And the funny thing is like during this time, like the amount of progress that I saw in my business was absolutely zero in terms of finances, at least anyway. And yeah, it was a very interesting time in my life, because obviously I've really got brought into this hustle culture and this culture around that you have to sacrifice to go somewhere. And yeah, I was living that life, and it wasn't really something that I kind of realized was a problem until I kind of looked back at that trend of like, okay, like I'm working so hard, but for what? Like for who as well? Like for me, I value so much around doing this, not only for myself, but the impact it can have on my family. You know, that includes my girlfriend, the house I've built, you know, everything that's around me, and my friends and my family as well. And I was sacrificing all that. I had no relationships. In that time, I wasn't really socialising. I wasn't going out with my friends. I wasn't even participating in my hobbies. And I was like, what's all this for in reality? Like, who's it for? And that was kind of the catalyst. But then more than that, like for myself, like as I said, that pattern was emerging where like I didn't want to be building my business in that way that wasn't sustainable, that was putting me to the bottom of the pile, that was making me feel like I had to sacrifice everything that was important to me. So during that time, I kind of like started to get on board with this new mentor and learn from him and the people who are in that mentorship, and actually start to build a life from a place of vision that I actually wanted to think about, okay, what do I actually want my life to look like, and build it from a place from that. And that was so important for me in the development of getting control and agency of my time, and also to help me manage my energy, which is the single biggest problem that I was facing here, right? So that time was transformative for me. I managed to put this boundary in place and actually protect my energy. So what did I actually do? Like the single biggest lesson that I learned from that time was the importance of like protecting my energy, right? And the importance of actually setting a boundary with when I work and when I don't. And for me, that looked like putting a boundary in it. All work starts at 8 p.m. And you might think like, how the hell do you get all your work done between 5 and 8 p.m? Well, I came to realise that all I had to do was boil it down to the essential tasks that actually ticked the business over and actually made sure that I was focusing on the right input. Because if I just cast my mind back to the time where I was grafting to like 9, 10 p.m. a lot of the time, I was actually working on a lot of meaningless shit. You know, social media, bios, you know, back-end stuff that was never really going to come to market. Like I was actually shooting a whole course then before I even knew who it was for and all of that stuff. I was building the scripts for that, and it was just a messy time. Obviously, this is stuff you learn as you go into business, right? But looking back now, it was pretty stupid, right? And so yeah, like I built a place from vision and design, and made sure that I was choosing to design my life. And so now like life is way better. Like it's funny because I actually work less in terms of the time of evening that I work to, but I actually get more done. And that's the funny paradox between sort of like, you know, this success culture and thinking that you always need to be on it. Like having this deadline in place for me actually enables me to show up more consistently. And over the long term, this is actually what matters, is consistent daily input. And having a workflow which is just boiled down to a few simple tasks really allows me to kind of like lock in for 45 minutes to an hour, come out of it and then lock in again if needed, but making sure that deadline's stuck. And it's funny because like now like my relationship with my girlfriend's way better. I actually see my friends. I am able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. And yeah, life's just really good now, and I can build the business effortlessly around my 9 to 5. And this is what I want for you guys. Like if you're trying to build a business around a 9 to 5 currently, I want you to make sure that it's in a way that's sustainable for yourself. And I'd like to think about a few questions like, what do you need to protect in your life right now to enable you to build a business sustainably? What do you need to protect internally? Maybe it's a habit, maybe it's a new habit or behavior to protect your own well-being. And sometimes you need to let go of things to be able to move forward. So is there anything that you need to let go of in your life? People, conversations, habits, routines that then enable you to grow and plant this seed of like consistency and well-being and optimizing the entrepreneur behind the business. And for me, like, you know, my vision is to live this limitless life of freedom, fulfillment, a life where I'm able to design and want to live and choose how I want to live that and do that every single day. And I have to carry that forwards now and carry some of those components now and put those things in right now. So I hope this has been useful, and I want to leave you those questions and take some time to think about it, write some notes, journal on it, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to start putting some more content out like this, a little bit longer form, a little bit more about my brain and some of the thoughts that are coming out of my brain, rather, shall I say. And yeah, if you like it, feel free to tap subscribe, follow along for the journey. And yeah, hope you have a good day.